Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us here at the African Reform Movement channel, where we discuss everything African reform with an emphasis on Ghana. As always, I'm your host, Uche. Let's see if Dr. Nee's ready. And your host, Dr. Nee. He's just having a few technical hitches his side. He'll sort that out and come to us shortly. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Dr. Nee is on a number of different social media platforms, so please feel free to follow him there. He posts a number of different articles at different times during the week, so please pay attention to that. He also has his website, sankofaafrica.com, as you can see there. Please log on to that website and have a look at his articles so you can familiarize yourself with his work. He also has a number of books at his Book Nook store, Weep Not Africa, Teta Kwashi, The Star to Follow, and others. Again, visit that bookstore so you can read his books and get an understanding of who Dr. Nee is and what his beliefs and policies are. Okay? So without any further ado, I'm going to announce today's topic. It's called the Antichrist Budget and You. So Dr. Nee, over to you and let us know what your thoughts are on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all those who are really helping this morning.
Sorry, Dr. Nee. Dr. Nee, your sound is very low. Your sound is very low.
All right. Let me get off that for you.
It's very echoey. It's very echoey, but and you're not coming through loud enough.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it just still sounds a bit distant.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenneth just said sound isn't clear.
Sorry.
Okay. Just bear with us while Dr. Nee sorts his equipment out. Okay. Greetings to you, Kenneth, as always, and greetings to all those of you who are watching online. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Oh, much better, much better.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right, today I was telling Uche in the week that I was thinking of starting Facebook live stream on the 7th of December, which would have been exactly 2 years from the next election. But I couldn't do that because I was exhausted. Very, very exhausted. It's a good thing because my body is telling me to slow down. But it's a very sad thing for Ghana because at this time of the year, I should be in my full element. But God is God. I'm very sad about today's topic, the Antichrist Budget and You. I mean, in the Fourth Republic, we've had these little demons here and there harassing and bothering our people. But now we've come face to face with the Antichrist itself. First slide. Okay, we're going to talk about 5 things: VAT, e-levy, fiscal collapse, meltdown, what is to be done. All right. I mean, I can talk about this issue the whole day, but we've limited ourselves to these 5 points because that is what affects you directly. The next slide, please. VAT, the history of value added tax in Ghana. The first attempt to introduce VAT into Ghana was in 1995 during the tenure of Kwesi Botwe, may he rest in peace, as our finance minister. In the 1992 election, Nana Akufo-Addo, the president of Ghana today, misled MPP to not to participate in the parliamentary elections. So they boycotted the election, and NDC won. NA is an alliance, won, I think, 199 seats. Only one seat went to Hawaii Akubo as an independent candidate. So the first parliament of the Fourth Republic was a one-party state. Yet, when Rawlings and Kwesi Botwe tried to introduce VAT at 5%, Nana Akufo-Addo and some people organized Kumipreku. Kumipreku means kill me now. Demonstration in Accra opposing the 5% VAT rate. All right. Rawlings, the Syrian coup maker, the man involved with 3 coups in Africa, the man who stopped more coups in Africa than anybody, the least educated of all the presidents in the Fourth Republic, saw wisdom in the demonstration. I mean, he did not take VAT to the 1992 election. So when there was agitation against it, he stopped it. And he took it to 1996 elections, which he won handsomely, and he brought VAT back in 1998 at 5%. Nana Akufo-Addo opposed VAT at 5%. Today, VAT is 21.75%. Catch Nana Akufo-Addo. In the latest budget, you see the headline, VAT increased by 2.5%. And we saw that is 15%. That is the base VAT. The effective VAT in Ghana is 21.75%. Yeah. By far, the highest VAT rate in Africa, and one of the highest in the world. This man who demonstrated against VAT of 5% has brought VAT to 21.7%. That demonstration, I think, 1 or 2 people died. They died for nothing. The immorality of this VAT is not just the history, but actually the implication. VAT is a consumption tax, and it affects the poor more than the rich. It affects the poor more disproportionately than the rich. Australia introduced VAT in 1996, 2 years before Ghana introduced it. And Australia introduced at 10%, we call it GST here. Australia introduced at 10%, and after 26 years, it still remains 10%. Because we know the effect of VAT on the poor. When you increase VAT, you decrease disproportionately the disposable income of the poor. It is an immoral tax that you use to offset poor collection of income tax. In Australia, the top 5% of income tax payers pay 60% of all income tax. And that's the reason why there is no need to increase VAT. In Ghana, what percentage of tax does the top 5% pay? If you want to introduce tax, it must be fair, it must be affordable, and it must be efficient. This VAT is going to create problems. The deception here is that VAT is 15%. 15%. It is not 15. It's 21.75%. The highest by far in Africa. Now, the effect of VAT is just the effect of any tax. But in this case, it's consumption tax. So what it means is that it's going to modify consumption. In a highly informal sector, I mean, Ghana is highly informal. In a highly informal economy, when you increase consumption tax, people will stop buying things that have VAT on them. And that will collapse the formal sector. People will start consuming things that do not carry tax. You see, what this government doesn't understand is that taxes come from income. When you increase tax, that will lead to profit of company. And that will lead to decrease in profit of company. Or that will lead to companies folding up. You lose company tax. When companies sold up, people are thrown out of job. So you lose income tax. That's what happens when you increase tax, especially in a highly informal economy. The formal sector suffers and government loses income tax. At the end of the day, you realize that your projections about revenue will be thrown out of the window because there will be decrease in income tax, there will be decrease in personal income, there will be decrease in company tax, and there will be decrease in personal income tax. And you will not get the VAT revenue that you think because people will modify their consumption. Very simple economy. Next slide. E-levy. The history of e-levy. You all know what happened last year. This e-levy was debated. They had to bring somebody, a sick patient from hospital to come and vote and all whatever happened. At the end of the day, I don't think they even got 10% of the revenue they expected. That's the history of e-levy. The immorality of e-levy is the same as that for VAT, because e-levy is also a consumption tax. Now, the deception here, they have said that they have reduced the rate from 1.5 to 1%. That's the headline. The fine print is they have withdrawn the daily threshold of 100 cedis. So today, if you transfer 100 cedis, you do not pay anything. If you transfer 200 cedis, you pay 1 cedi 50 pesos. From 1st of January, if you transfer 100 cedis, you pay 1 cedi. As against nothing now. If you transfer 200, you pay 2 cedis. As against 1.5 now. So they haven't actually reduced the VAT rate. It's increased for you. It's called deception. And that is why this is an Antichrist budget full of deception. Full of deception. And the effect is going to be the same. People have to modify their consumption. And they have to modify how much of money they send through Momo. That's going to affect the Momo companies. And if their profit reduces, their competitors will reduce. If their profit reduces, they may lay off some workers. If they lay off some workers, individual income tax received by government will reduce. In the end, government will get less money. Taxes come from income. Okay? When you reduce income, you reduce taxes. It doesn't matter the rate. Next slide. Fiscal collapse. Now, the deficit. These people have said that they projected revenue to be 144 billion and expenditure 191 billion, which means deficit is going to be 47 billion. 47 billion. I think it means that 36% of money that government is going to spend in the next year is some money that belongs to us. We have to find 47 billion from somewhere to make up the fiscal deficit. Okay? Now, last year, the deficit was 36 billion. And we could not find the 36 billion from external sources because of our credit rating. Now, government had to print money to make up for the deficit. And what did that do? The cedi plummeted. Inflation is now around 50%. Now, if we could not manage a deficit of 36 billion, how do we manage a deficit of 47 billion? Now, our credit rating is at the lowest possible. We are now at par with Sri Lanka, which is in default. And now S&P are saying our domestic credit rating is what they call selective default. And our external rating is virtual default. Now, our domestic rating is based on this Antichrist budget. Government is restructuring domestic debt. Now, what they do not understand is that when you owe someone and unilaterally you decide to defer payment, you have defaulted. And that's why just after releasing the budget, Moody downgraded us by 2 steps, unprecedented. And the S&P to have downgraded us because you don't have the means to pay those you are owing. You say you are restructuring. You are not restructuring. You are deferring payment. You have defaulted. Full stop. And obviously, you don't have money to pay the external debt. The moment they start talking about external debt, they have defaulted. We'll see what they will do. And these are the lies. The lies of the fiscal deficit. The finance minister told everybody that government has slashed its expenditure by 30% in the present budget. Now, if the expenditure was 136 billion and you slash by 30%, it's supposed to come to 95 billion. So, if the budget for 2022 has been slashed to 95 billion, how did government manage to double it to 191 billion in 2023 budget? If we could not handle an expenditure of 136 billion in 2022, how are we going to handle an expenditure of 191 billion in 2023? It's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. The minister lied to Ghana that he's cut expenditure by 30%. In actual fact, what is done is that it's increased the year-on-year deficit by 30.5%. The deficit of 36 billion for 2022 has moved to 47 billion, 11 billion more. Now, that is 30.5% above that of last year. It's not sustainable. We are going to have a fiscal collapse. I'm telling you. I told you that last year, and it happened. And I'm telling you again, it's going to collapse worse than last year. The deficit drives the debt. If you don't have deficit, then you may not borrow. If you have deficit, you may have to borrow. If you cannot find a external source of borrowing, you have to go to the Bank of Ghana overdraft. The Bank of Ghana overdraft is what you call printing money. And I can tell you this, Ghana government is not going to make 144 billion in revenue. They're not going to make more than 135%, 135 billion. And Ghana government is not going to spend 191 billion. It's going to spend at least 200 billion. So we are sitting with a deficit of at least 65 billion, not 47 billion. It's going to be an amalgam. It's going to be something we haven't seen before. Brothers and sisters, it's not easy. Next slide. The meltdown. Socio-economic and political Armageddon. Complete disaster. If the cause is the same, the effect will also be the same. Now, we are the same rating so far as Moody's are concerned with Sri Lanka. Okay? Don't deceive yourself. Do not deceive yourself. If the cost is the same, the effect will be the same. If Ghana gets to Sri Lanka, what happened in Sri Lanka will happen in Ghana. It's as simple as that. And take me serious. Socio, economic, and political Armageddon. What is delaying, or what has kept the system going, is not because Ghanaians lack the courage or the boldness to challenge and to take their country back from this Antichrist government. The problem of Ghana is the opposition NDC that have joined the government to pass this budget. You see, NDC is the most hopeless opposition ever on planet Earth. EFF in South Africa, Julius Malema EFF, that has only 10% of parliamentarians in South Africa, is more effective than NDC, that has 50% of MPs in Ghana, and also the Speaker of Parliament. It is the most disgraceful opposition on planet Earth. The most incompetent opposition on planet Earth. And this is their reason. They believe the economic hardship of this Antichrist government is paving the way for them to win the next election. What they do not understand is that the debt we are facing, the debt crisis we are facing, the foundation for this debt crisis was laid by John Mahama. The corrupt, the incompetent, and the greedy John Mahama. What they will have to understand is that John Mahama borrowed 113 billion cedis at an average exchange of 3 cedis to the dollar. So John Mahama borrowed close to $40 billion. If Akufo-Addo has borrowed 320 billion cedis at an average exchange of 8 cedis to the dollar from 2017 up to today, Akufo-Addo too has borrowed $40 billion US dollars. There is so much difference between dollars has borrowed. Hello? Oh, hello?
Yeah, hi, Dr. Lee, we're still here. Could you just repeat that point because you cut out a little bit?
Say it again.
Could you just repeat the last couple of sentences you said because you cut out a little bit?
Okay. What I said was that John Mahama and NDC from 2009 to the beginning of 2017 borrowed 113 billion cedis at an average exchange of 3 cedis to the dollar. So they borrowed 30 something, close to $40 billion. Akufo-Addo, from 2017 January to now, has borrowed about 320 or thereabout billion cedis at an average exchange of 8 cedis to the dollar. Akufo-Addo has borrowed $40 billion. So in terms of dollars, Akufo-Addo hasn't borrowed much more than John Mahama. NDC laid the foundation for this debt crisis, and Akufo-Addo surely has built his debt cathedral on this foundation. They are Siamese twins, two sides of the same coin. If NDC, if the MPs there believe that the debt crisis is the sole responsibility of the MPP, and therefore they are MPP is paving the way for them to win 2024, they lie bad, because their Modako is going to steal the bean. They will understand the mathematics involved in this debt crisis. They are not much different. And truth to be told, there was no COVID and there was no war. No matter how insignificant these two factors are, they still were not there under NDC. John Mahama and NDC inherited a debt of 9 billion cedis. They left a debt of 122 billion. That is 1,250% increase. 1,250% increase in the debt level. They cannot tell me if they cannot handle 9 billion cedis debt, they can handle 450 billion cedis debt. They just can't. If you are not faithful little, how are you going to feel so much? That is NDC for you. As for MPP, they destroy themselves. So they are not there. I don't even think about it. It is NDC who is pretending to be better than MPP. They are my focus. And I'm going to dismantle them. I'm going to dismantle Mahama because he doesn't know anything. Okay? The meltdown. Ghanaians will know NDC. And Ghanaians will get their accountable. Ghanaians will know that NDC approved the budget because they see what is happening as a golden opportunity. They want to feed on your suffering. They want to feed on your struggling. But it's not going to be, because power belongs to the people. All power that any government operates comes from the sovereign will of the people. And when people say that, I want my power back, they will get their power back. No power can stop them. Until then, let's see what ARM will do differently. Let's see what Niamudaka will do if he's a president today. Because nobody has said anything. Mama hasn't said what he will do, because he doesn't know anything. There's nothing he can do. The man has been an MP, and I say he has been what do you call that thing? Assemblyman, an MP, a deputy minister, a minister, a vice president, acting president, opposition leader number one, now opposition number two. He hasn't said anything sensible. He has no clue as to the problem facing Ghana because he is part of the cause. The cause can never be part of the cure. Next slide. What is to be done? A new leadership with a political vision and a workable economic plan. As you know, the Fifth Republic, constitutional changes, constitutional reform to rescue, resuscitate, and restore Ghana. That's it. But it's not going to happen like that. We got to stage it. We have to put the economy into a safe mode. In order, that's what they call rescue. That's what has to be done yesterday, not today, yesterday. And what does that mean? To rescue Ghana, because of the bomb-back constitutional order we have, we are restrained. But there are things we can do now. We reduce size of government straight from whatever it is to 25 ministers with no deputies. We reduce our foreign mission from 52 or whatever to 25 and regionalize it. That is 5 per continent. We suspend all foreign travel. And we take out all regional ministers out. And the chief, what do you call them? The mayors or the whatever should be active. For instance, the mayor of Accra should act as the regional minister of Greater Accra. The mayor of Kumasi should act as the regional minister for Ashanti region. The mayor of Cape Coast should act as the regional minister for Central region, and so on and so forth. We suspend all certain projects. We suspend the National Cathedral. And when I say suspend, I don't mean that it should be resumed. Because the president and all those people on the board of that cathedral will face the wrath of the people when we take power back. For vandalism, for destroying the digital community. And they will face the wrath of the people for causing financial loss to the state. They will never escape it. This madness must never happen in our country again. And they will pay for it. I don't care who they are. Every single person who has sat on that board before will pay for it. Because this madness cannot go on. We have a children's hospital, 68-bed children's hospital, in the noisiest and the dirtiest part of Accra, built 1928 by the colonial government led by Gordon Godisbey, when the population was 2.5 million. We are taking 1 million plus, and this Antichrist government cannot use money to build a children's hospital fit for the 21st century. This one there is almost 100 years old. When Godisbey built it, It was one of the, it was the first in Africa and one of the best in the world. That was a hospital that Koscielny was diagnosed first and described in the medical literature. Up to today, protein energy nutrition is still called Koscielny. Everywhere you go in the world, the only Ghanaian word in the medical literature was diagnosed in Kolewoko in Accra. We have been independent for 65 years. What have we done? We are building a cathedral for an unknown God, for the shrine of a deity that is president consulted for the election. And they will pay for it. Trust me. We call these ones immediate. You put the economy into safe mode. You cut all these things and you bring your expenditure from 191 billion to 100 billion. Now, when you do that, there are a lot more. I haven't spoken about that. I'm just putting the principle there. When you do that, then you realize that you do not need to increase VAT. You do not need to even have e-levy at all. The e-levy will have to go. Because you do not need to raise 144 billion if you can bring the expenditure to 100 billion. And there are so many things you can do to bring the expenditure down. You are going to reduce the staff in the office of the president from 1,000 to 50. You can do it now. You don't need a constitutional change. You can do it now. And that is the rescue mission. You rescue the economy. Those of you who understand computer, me, I'm hopeless there. But when there's a problem, they can put the whole computer into a safe mode where only the essential things are done until the problem is fixed. We need to put Ghana into a safe mode. We need to put Ghana into a safe mode, and that means we rescue Ghana. We rescue Ghana into a safe mode by cutting expenditure and therefore cutting revenue, taxes. Because if your revenue matches your expenditure, you are in safe zone. And the effect of printing money, causing high inflation, weakening the cedi, will be done with. That's when you put the country in the safe mode. But no computer stays in the safe mode forever. The safe mode is meant for a short period. So then you start the resuscitation. Mind you, the Free Republic is constitutional reform to rescue, resuscitate, and restore Ghana. So we start the resuscitation. And this is what I will do, which is what the Constitution requires say. Anyway, I, as the president, will write to the electoral commission that after the census, we have to reconfigure the constituencies in Ghana. At this point in time, we don't need more than 150 constituencies. So in 2024, redraw the map of Ghana Parliament as 150 constituencies. And this is the way you go about it. This is what the constitution talks about, the population quotient. What it means is that the population of any region times 1.5 with the number of seats that region will have in parliament. So if Greater Accra is 18%, the Greater Accra will have 18 times 1.5. That is 27 seats in parliament. If Ashanti region is 18%, the Ashanti is going to have also 27 seats. If Eastern region is 10%, the Eastern region is going to have 15 seats in parliament. Then you go to those regions, then you draw the boundaries to fit the number of seats that you are going to give them. We are going to reduce, this is what I will tell electoral commission, we are going to reduce parliament from 275 to 150. And I'll tell them that we are going to reduce the 260 districts to 75, so that 2 constituencies make 1 district. Full stop. Okay, these are intermediary steps. Then we have a whole lot of intermediary steps that we can play with within these constitutional arrangements. Now, we have about 18 judges in the Supreme Court. So we say that from now on, no new appointment. We are going to keep the people there until we get to the number 7. Natural attrition. If anybody retires, the person will not be replaced. We cannot sack those who are there now. But I believe that in the next 2 years, maybe half of them will retire. We are not replacing it. We will keep doing that until we get the number 7. And we'll fix the number at 7. Or maximum 9. We'll fix the number. Okay? Now, these are the intermediate steps, and there are more. For instance, I will abolish free boarding SHS completely. But we cannot do it now because some of them have gone to SHS boarding with this understanding that it's going to be free. But it's not going to be like that from 2024. So we put it in there. And this is how you give confidence to the international community that you understand your problem. This is how you give confidence to the international community that you understand your problem, that you cannot spend more than you earn. And then the definitive, that is the restoration. That's the third one. The restoration. That is the future. Now, under the Free Republic, we are going to have a democracy dictating the Free Republican Constitution. And that is what I'm going to campaign on 2024. We're going to have ECOFED, Economic Federalism of 11 states. Each state, 8 to 10% of the population. Each state will have 5 districts. And each district will have 5 constituencies. Now, 11 states, 5 districts, means that we'll have 55 districts in Ghana. So we are going to draw the 75 in the intermediary step to 55. Now, we're going to have a national parliament based on Chempe, Shebo, proportional representation of only 100 members. So we'll drop the intermediary 150 MPs to 100. What it means is that If Greater Accra is 18%, Greater Accra will have 18 members of parliament. If Ashanti is 18%, Ashanti will have 18 members of parliament. If Northern Region is 10%, Northern Region will have 10 members of parliament. It's fixed. Nobody can change the game. We lock it. And to the king, to the state. And the whole world will know that these people are sin. That is their restoration. We restore Ghana. We restore Ghana. We restore Sikaman. We have the Federal Republic of Sikaman. And our people will be free again. Twa Omanyaba.
Thank you for that, Dr. Nee. Let's put the light on. And thank you for those of you who are online now who've posted questions and comments. We'll go through those now. So first up was, I believe it's Shita. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. She said, is it that they have amnesia or they just don't care about the people? They simply have no clue what they're doing. It's so baffling.
All of the above. They have amnesia because it's selective abuse. They've forgotten that Nana Akufo-Addo said Kumi Preku to complain about VAT of 5%. It's going to go that they just don't know what they're okay. So and they don't care because if they care, they are not going to start the year with a budget deficit of 47 billion when they know that we can manage with 100 billion. Because they told us that they cut the previous expenditure by 30%, we brought it 95 billion. So we can manage with 100 billion. But they don't care. They don't mind accruing the debt. Because somehow they believe they will get away with it. They won't get away with it. I can tell you that. They won't get away with it. And of course, they are incompetent. And the incompetence is not a simple one. It's the Antichrist one. Because try to cover it with deception and lies. But we'll fight them. And they will lose. But the truth will always triumph. And we don't fight them alone. We'll fight NDC too.
Okay. Next time, they'll steal the money.
Yes. Actually, it's 144 billion.
Oh, billion. Okay.
Yeah, 144 billion. But they won't get it. Because when you increase tax, when you increase consumption tax, you modify consumption. Okay? They don't understand that. Of course, I agree. They are thieves.
In other words, what does Ghana have to show for huge debts incurred by both parties?
Nothing. Nothing. The only difference is that Akufo-Addo has borrowed more in city terms than John Mahama. That's the difference. MPP has borrowed more in city terms than NDC. But in dollar terms, the difference is very marginal. And there is no evidence to show that Mama would have done the same or worse. He came to meet $9 billion cities and he took it to 122 billion, an increase of 1,250%. So what is he going to take 450 billion cities? We're going to do proper forensic auditing or going to use the 132 billion, no, sorry, 113 billion cities for. And you pay the difference. It's not going to go free. Yeah. Nothing to show.
Kenneth says,
Yes, righteous anger. But I'm smiling too because we defeat Antichrist. What else can I say? We have to be very angry because Moody's have rated us at the same level with Sri Lanka. Okay, we are the sixth largest producer of gold. We are the second largest producer of cocoa. We shouldn't be the same place in Sri Lanka. We shouldn't. We are the smallest country in the top 10 producers of gold. Number one is China. It's almost 40 times the size of Ghana, with maybe one, I don't know, the number of, more times the population. Australia is number two. It's 32 times the size of Ghana. Number three is Russia, maybe under 30 times the size of. Then number four is America, about 40 times the size. Number five is Canada, another 40 times the size of Ghana. And we are competing with these people. We are number six. We have the largest gold deposit per kilometer radius. That is the gold density that any country in the world, on the planet, and we are together with Sri Lanka. This one must be buried alive.
Shika says, I like that. Put Ghana in safe mode because we are truly in danger.
Yeah, safe mode. That's my creation. Okay, the creation of your boss. Safe mode. Yes. 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 Okay. In the definitive treatment, in the restoration, not anybody. You see, democracy is for everybody, but leadership is not for everybody. Democracy is for everybody, but leadership is not for everybody. So, in the Fifth Republic, in the restoration process, there will be, what do you call that thing? Selection criteria to become an MP. There will be eligibility criteria. You're not just going to be an MP. Before you become an MP, you have to do this, you have to be this, you have to show capability here, you have to do this and that. Before everybody and anybody can vote in an election, but not anybody and everybody can be a leader. When you read the advice of the great African, Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, in Exodus chapter 18, he told Moses that what you are doing is no good. You cannot sit down here alone as the only judge looking after the whole of Israel. I'll give you an advice and take it to your God. If it's good with your God, then do it. Now, select men of good character, who fear God, who have good reputation of people, who have this and that, and make them leaders over tens, over 50s, over hundreds, and over thousands. And let them judge your people in all things, and let them bring only the difficult one to you to judge. If you do that, and you spread the word, and you spread the responsibility, then you can cope, and you and these people will survive. If you don't do that, you will die, and these people will die with you. Before he gave Moses the advice about leadership, he put up eligibility criteria Not everybody can be a leader. This is 3,500 years ago. And today in Ghana, anybody can be a leader. Anybody, any idiot can be a president. Anybody can just get up and say, I want to be a president. Meanwhile, 3,500 years ago, not everybody, if you can be a leader over 10 people, over 50 people, over 100 people, or over 1,000 people, not everybody. People who fear God, people who have good reputation, people who are this, people who are that. And what the Bible says, the Bible said that Moses did everything that the father-in-law had advised. The father-in-law of Moses was the prince of Midian, the Cushite, the Ethiopian, the African, and he did this over 1,000 years before Plato wrote the Republic. We were ahead of them. But today, look at us. Moses was behaving like an African president, a center president. He alone, one-man government. And he told him that the thing that you are doing is not good. Go and read Exodus 18 to educate yourself. The African, the Cushite, the Ethiopian went there and advised the man of God, the greatest prophet of Israel, and they say that Moses did everything. The man advised him, he built a federal catapult and he brought proportional representation. But leadership must not judge before everyone. He said, select from among the people, teach them the laws, teach them the statutes of God, and let them judge the people at all times for all things, and let them bring only the difficult ones to you. And if you do that, then you will survive. If you do that, then you survive. Say amen, somebody. This is Pastor Darko. And let me say it again. In the Fifth Republic, not everybody will be a leader. There will be eligibility criteria. When Apostle Paul was advising Timothy and Titus about bishops in the church, about deacons in the church, he put up eligibility criteria. They must be a man of one husband, no alcoholic, this and that, this and that. This is 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. Today in Ghana, any moron can decide that he wants to be this, he wants to be that. It will stop. So don't worry, we'll fix your problem. Let the questions come.
Okay, we've got one last comment here. Oh, this is a new person, but stop calling them honorable a long time ago.
Yes. They don't even understand the history behind the honorable because they are not even teachable. The capacity to even learn, they don't have it. So don't worry.
Okay, those are all the questions. Just there's a few new people on here. I'll just go a quick run through so I can see who's on here today. There was Kenneth.
Yes, we are going to have our own London Bridge. We're going to have our London Bridge. This London Bridge, you see, was built before Ghana was colonized. So Britain didn't become great because of colonization. All right? Let's get that point clear. We like excuses. We never do the right thing. But we'll get there. Because it all depends on leadership. We need a new leadership. With a vision. With a political vision. And a workable economic plan. Okay.
Thank you, Lee.
Oh, Nina.
Eric.
Oh, Jingo, what is it?
Sophia. as you already
Hey,
know.
man, Safara.
Chico's on, as you already know. Rashid is on
Oh,
here.
Rashid, thank you very much. What do you call that? Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Vida was on here today.
Oh, my own.
That's everyone. I think I saw Kenneth already. I showed you Kenneth already. Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's everyone's on here today. So yeah,
We need a new leadership.
comments.
2024 is constitutional change for economic prosperity. CCEP, constitutional change for economic prosperity. We will change the gun. We will change the country. It's going to happen. That's a definitive truth. But if today I'm made a president, I've told what I'll do to put Ghana in the safe mode. And I'll tell you, I've told you what I'll tell Electoral Commission to put it to the 2022 elections, the changes to the parliament, to the district system, and whatever. All right. And 2024, we campaign on the Fifth Republic, Federal Republic of Sikkim, Chaumanyaba.
All right, that's everything. So, let me see. Well, then I'll let you decide because today's is 10th, and next week is 17th. The week after that is the 24th. So we'll see which one's going to be the last one for the year. But thank you to all of those who have. Oh, just had a late comer here, Celestina.
Hey, Ashigai, you there? All right, thank you very much for appearing.
Thank you to all of those of you who've been with us throughout this year, sending your comments and questions. Everything's much appreciated. We'll let you know when the next one is going to be.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm exhausted. I don't know. What's next week?
Next week is
what day is next week?
17th.
Maybe next week, definitely not 24th. I don't. Yeah, people will not be in the mood. Yeah. Maybe next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you heard it here, everybody. Yeah. Next week will be the last one for the year. So log on, and Doctor will come at you with another topic. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again next week for our last one of the year. Take care then. Bye-bye.
Bye.